Friends, I welcome you once again for the second part of this week, 2nd to 8th February, part 2 of questions and answers. I hope you enjoyed the first part, and let us look at some questions of the second part. Right? First question, the maximum limit for investments in government securities by foreign portfolio investors. Foreign portfolio investors is the separate class, mostly overseas investors. They invest into our government securities. Government securities are basically dated securities and treasury bills. Total in government securities issued by Government of India, the maximum limit is prescribed up to which the foreign entities can invest. The maximum limit prescribed for the foreign entities to invest in government securities is $30 billion. $30 billion is the maximum limit up to which FPIs or otherwise foreign portfolio investors can invest in government securities in India. Recently, RBI liberalized certain things, especially with regard to the investment from interest, and that means interest income can be invested up to an additional investment of $5 billion. This is the advanced thing. If you understand it is okay. If you are not able to understand this point, you can leave this point. And remember, the maximum limit for investments in government securities is $30 billion. Please remember. Look at the next question. Mrinalini Mukherjee. Mrinalini Mukherjee, who passed away recently, is the famous sculptor. Remember, Mrinalini Mukherjee passed away recently, and she is the famous sculptor, and her parents are from Shantiniketan. Right? Mrinalini Mukherjee is a famous sculptor. Look at the next question. India's first electrified railway line. First electrified railway line in the country is in Mumbai city. The then name was Bombay, and in the city of Mumbai, the first electrified line connects Mumbai CST. Mumbai CST is nothing but Mumbai Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus. Mumbai Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus to Kurla. This line was first electrified and it completed 90 years recently. Initial traction was 1500 volts DC traction, and this line completed recently 90 years of its commissioning. This is the first electrified railway line in the country. Look at the next question. Videocon, BPCL, Petrobras. What is Petrobras? Petrobras is the major oil company in Brazil. Petrobras is the major oil company in Brazil, and recently Videocon, BPCL and Petrobras, they formed as a joint venture, and recently they discovered oil near the city of Aracaju. Aracaju is situated in Brazil, and Petrobras is the #1 oil major in Brazil. Right? Look at the next question. Name the country which allowed the babies with DNA from 3 people. From the third person. That means this basically pertains to the deficiency in the mitochondrial DNA. If the mother's DNA, I would like to explain once again, if the mother's DNA has some mitochondrial deficiency, then there is every possibility that the child may be born with some diseases, or they may develop in the later stages because of the mitochondrial deficiency of the mother. And to prevent the birth of a child with some deficiencies, recently Great Britain allowed that the right DNA from a third person can be taken and can be inserted in the egg. Right? So here what I mean to say is, UK is the first country, or Great Britain is the first country to allow babies with DNA from 3 people. That means when the mother's DNA has some mitochondrial deficiency, to prevent the child to born with some deficiencies, a right mitochondria from other women is allowed. So Great Britain is the first country to allow this. Right? Look at the next question. As per 2011 census, recent census in our country were held in 2011. As per the 2011 census, please remember two things. One is the child sex ratio. Child sex ratio is basically 0 to 6 years. Among the children of 0 to 6 years, per 1000 boys, how many girls are there? That is the child sex ratio. If 1000 boys are there, how many girls are there? Per 1000 boys, girls in our country is 918. There are 918 girls per 1000 boys. That is called child sex ratio. And men and women, if you look at the entire country's population, the sex ratio is 940. The sex ratio is 940, but the worrying factor is child sex ratio is much less, which indicates there may be a case of female infanticide in the country. That means killing the girl child in the womb itself. Right? That's why all the sex determination tests in this country are banned. Remember, child sex ratio is 918 and the sex ratio as a whole for the population is 940, and child sex ratio is the worrying factor for the country. That's why recently the Prime Minister launched Beti Bachao Beti Padhao program to take care of the welfare of the girl child. Look at the next question. What is the approximate expenditure envisaged under the Digital India program? Government of India is going to come up with the Digital India program, and the total cost as per the statistics given by the Government of India is 1.13 lakh crore rupees. Digital India, under the Digital India program, all the services to the citizens will be digitized, and you will have most of the services to be accessible through online, including education and health, and Wi-Fi facility will be there in all the villages, and broadband connectivity to be given to each and every household. So this is the goal of Government of India, and to ensure this goal, the total budgetary expectation is 1.13 lakh crore is required for Digital India program. Right? Look at the next question. Out of approximately 6 lakh villages in the country, we have approximately 6 lakh villages. Out of 6 lakh villages, as per the statistics given by the Government of India Department recently, approximately 55,000 villages do not have mobile connectivity. This figure may change as the time passes. Don't stick on to this figure, and at present, as per the statistics given by Government of India, 55,000 villages at present do not have mobile connectivity, but please be cautious, this figure may change in future. Right? Look at the next question. Mary Gowan Davis. She will be the head of the United Nations War Crimes Tribunal. There are allegations that in the Gaza Strip, lot of crimes were committed. There is infighting going on between Palestine as well as Israel, and to look into the war crimes committed by Israel in the people living in Gaza Strip, recently Mary McGowan Davis was nominated to head the UN War Crimes Tribunal. UN War Crimes Tribunal is United Nations War Crimes Tribunal. So the answer here is Gaza Strip. She was nominated to look into the UN War Crimes Tribunal's head. She will act as head of the UN War Crimes Tribunal in Gaza Strip. Right? Look at the next question. Recently, 10 people were killed when the tannery sludge came gushing out from the landfill in Ranipet. Recently, tannery sludge came out gushing because of breach of wall in Ranipet. Ranipet is in Tamil Nadu. What is a tannery? That is nothing but processing of animal skin. processing of animal skin is basically the tannery industry, and there was some landfill and some wall breached in the early hours, and around 10 people were washed away in the sludge, and this occurred in Ranipet. It is in Tamil Nadu. Right answer is Tamil Nadu. Look at the next question. NGT, National Green Tribunal. What is National Green Tribunal? National Green Tribunal is the statutory body which was established on 18th October 2010. 18th October 2010, National Green Tribunal was established as a statutory body, and Mr. Justice Swatantra Kumar is the chairperson of National Green Tribunal. Mr. Swatantra Kumar, when I utter the name, please remember these names may change after some time, but when we are looking into the period, that name will specify to that period, please remember. Now the National Green Tribunal is headed by Mr. Justice Swatantra Kumar. Right? National Green Tribunal recently ordered closure of 17 steel pickling units. What is the steel pickling unit? Steel pickling unit is nothing but removing the impurities on the surface of ferrous products. Removing the impurities like rust and all. To remove that impurity, what they will do? They use hydrochloric acid. By using hydrochloric acid, these impurities are removed. But ultimately, this hydrochloric acid is going into Yamuna river. It is polluting Yamuna river. Because of pollution, National Green Tribunal recently ordered closure of 17 pickling units. Because National Green Tribunal is basically established to look into the environmental concerns. Right? To protect the Yamuna river from further deterioration of water quality, NGT ordered the closure of 17 pickling units. They are near 10. Look at the next question. Now importers and exporters. Importers means when you are getting some product from other country. If you are getting a product from America to India, it means import. When you are sending some product from India to America, that is export. Export means you manufacture something, you send it to some other country. Import means you are bringing or you are getting the product from some other country. So, to give unique number, recently DGFT, that is nothing but Directorate General of Foreign Trade, recently decided to give 10-digit unique code to all the importers and exporters. Remember, Directorate General of Foreign Trade, that is DGFT, that is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and Union Minister of State for Commerce and Industry is Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman. Right? Look at the next question. Oracle is planning 5 more offices in India. Oracle is the corporation established in the year 1977. Its famous co-founder is Mr. Larry Ellison, and it is going to establish 5 more offices in India, and its headquarters is in California. Right? So, this software major Oracle is basically into computer hardware and enterprise software. Not only into hardware, they are also into enterprise software, and this is going to open 5 more offices in India, and its headquarters is in California in United States of America. Look into the next question. Which of the following central banks are undertaking fresh rounds of liquidity in the financial system? We have already discussed in the previous classes, when there is a recession, that means when the growth is not satisfactory, when there is a deflation, means when the rates are reducing. These two things normally happen in developed countries. When these two things happen, what will happen? There will be unemployment, loss of jobs will be there, growth will not be there, economy will suffer, under those circumstances, what the central banks will do is, by purchasing bonds from the market, they will infuse liquidity into the system. That means they will infuse easy money into the system. Because of the infusion of liquidity, what will happen? Because of infusion of liquidity, money will be available in the system. Because of that, growth will start to take off. Because of that, unemployment will also reduce. And remember, Federal Reserve, which is nothing but the Central Bank of America, has done it last year, and now European Central Bank as well as Bank of Japan, these two are doing this infusion of liquidity into the system. The technical name for that is, in economic parlance, the name is quantitative easing. Right? We discuss these things in future in our economic classes in detail. Right? Look at the next question. Which of the following is avian influenza? What is meant by avian influenza? That is nothing but bird flu. I would like to tell you a little bit about bird flu, swine flu and Ebola. Let us look at bird flu. Bird flu is basically the virus of duck and geese. Bird flu is the virus of duck and geese. After spreading to domestic poultry, their H5N1 virus is sometimes contracted by human beings. H5N1 virus is sometimes contracted by human beings. The name given to it is bird flu or avian influenza, and first time this bird flu surfaced in Hong Kong in the year 1997. First time bird flu surfaced in Hong Kong in the year 1997. Primary origin is ducks and geese, later on spreading to this domestic poultry, then contracted by human beings. The name is H5N1, please remember. Look at swine flu. It is the virus from pigs. It affects lungs. When humans contract it, the virus is H1N1. H5N1 is bird flu. H1N1 is swine flu. This swine flu first surfaced in Mexico in the year 2009. Bird flu, Hong Kong in 1997. This is swine flu, Mexico in 2009. The other one is Ebola, the most dangerous of these three. Ebola disease. Ebola was first discovered in two countries in the year 1976. One country is Sudan, the other country is Zaire. In those days the name was Zaire, but now the name is Democratic Republic of Congo. These two countries initially, in the year 1976, this Ebola virus was identified. Subsequently, it is attacking quite off and on in African territories. And major breakthrough occurred in the country Guinea in the year 2013, and subsequently several lives were lost during the outbreak of Ebola during last year, and three countries worst affected are Guinea, Sierra Leone and Liberia in West Africa. So Ebola is the most dreaded disease of these three. It was first noticed in 1976, and remember, Ebola is the name of a river. It is the tributary of Congo River. Right? Having known these things about Ebola, swine flu and bird flu, let us move on to the next question. Before that, remember, avian influenza is bird flu. Don't forget it. Look at the next question. The 14th Finance Commission. Why Finance Commission is instituted? Finance Commission is a constitutional body established under Article 280 of the Constitution, so as to decide the share of taxes between central government and states. So as to decide the share of taxes between the central government and the states, and this Finance Commission is being established once in every 5 years. once in every 5 years, and this is the 14th Finance Commission headed by Mr. Y.V. Reddy. Mr. Y.V. Reddy was the former governor of RBI, and they are going to give the report now, and this report will be implemented for 5-year period from 1st April 2015 to 31st March 2020. Remember, 14th Finance Commission is headed by Mr. Y.V. Reddy, and its report is going to be implemented for 5-year period from 1st April 2015 to 31st March 2020. It is for 5-year period. Right? Look at the next question. Name the state which declared camel as the state animal. Where do you see camels? In the deserts of Rajasthan. So Rajasthan declared camel as the state animal. Right? Look at the next question. H1N1 was first discovered. I have already told you. H1N1 was first discovered in April 2009 in Mexico. What is the capital of Mexico? Capital of Mexico is Mexico City. What is the currency? It is Mexican peso. That is the currency of Mexico. So first, this virus of H1N1, which is nothing but swine flu, was discovered in April 2009 in Mexico, and please don't forget bird flu, Hong Kong in 1997, and Ebola in 1976 in Sudan and Zaire, and the present name of Zaire is Democratic Republic of Congo, and Ebola is the name of tributary of river Congo. Right? Look at the next question. The state which accounted for highest deaths due to H1N1 virus. We have already discussed Rajasthan accounted for highest deaths in the month of January 2015. Right? Look into the next question. Name the city which is going to have 6,000 CCTVs at a cost of 949 crore. The city is none other than Mumbai. And remember, Devendra Fadnavis is the new Chief Minister of Maharashtra, and Mr. C.H. Vidyasagar Rao is Governor of that state. And Mumbai CCTVs will be established at a cost of 949 crore rupees, basically to have more security in the city. City was worst affected due to the terror attacks. Several times terror attacks took place during the past 20 years in Mumbai. So as to prevent any such attack in future, these CCTVs are going to be established, and the L&T is going to execute this work. Let us move on to the next question. Leader of the opposition in Rajya Sabha. Leader of the opposition is Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad. He is the Congress leader. He is from Jammu and Kashmir, and he got re-elected from the state of Jammu and Kashmir. His upper house, other name is Rajya Sabha. Maximum strength of Rajya Sabha is 250. It should not cross 250 as per the constitution. And Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad got elected from Jammu and Kashmir. Right? Rajya Sabha members are indirectly elected, whereas Lok Sabha members are directly elected by the people of the country. Right? Having known this, please look into the next question. Name the state government. All of us are familiar. February 14th is Valentine's Day, and one state government officially declared this day as Matru Pitru Divas, that is Parents Worship Day. So the state government is Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh declared February 14th as the Matru Pitru Divas. Right? Look into the next question. Veteran theatre artist and film actor Atmaram Bhende recently died at the age of 91. He died. He is a Marathi theatre artist, fondly called Bapu. Recently, he acted in the film Lage Raho Munna Bhai as a senior citizen, and he died at the age of 91 years in a hospital in Pune. Right? So Mr. Atmaram Bhende is theatre artist from Maharashtra. The answer is Maharashtra. Let us look into the next question. Name the bank which proposes to raise 15,000 crore through private placement. Through private placement, the Axis Bank is going to raise 15,000 crore rupees. Recently, HDFC Bank raised 10,000 crore rupees. Now Axis Bank is going to raise 15,000 crore rupees, and most of the private sector banks have got no problem in raising the money from the market, whereas there is some problem for the public sector banks in raising the capital. Remember, a lot of capital is needed to ensure the capital adequacy ratio as per the Basel norms, which is to be implemented by March 31st, 2019 by all the banks in the Indian banking industry. Right? Look at the next question. Capital infusion by the central government. You know, every year central government gives money to public sector banks because money is required by the public sector banks to satisfy capital adequacy ratio. Till last year, Government of India has given money without looking into the efficiency parameters of the banks, how they are functioning, what is their profitability. Till last year, Government of India has not looked into those issues. But this year, they put up separate criteria. If you want money, your parameter should be good. These two are efficiency parameters. In economic parlance, that is ROA is return on assets, ROE is return on equity, and they satisfy these two parameters, then only they will get money. In the given question, ROE stands for return on equity and ROA stands for return on assets. Right? Let us move on to the next question. Grahak Suvidha Kendras. You know, India we have Consumer Protection Act. Consumer Protection Act was passed in the year. Consumer Protection Act was enacted in the year 1986. That means as a consumer, you are entitled to certain rights. If you are cheated, you can approach the consumer court. Right? So, Grahak Suvidha Kendras are being proposed so as to give service to the consumers. Government of India is planning Grahak Suvidha Kendras in dozen cities and they are going to give advice to consumers. Look into the next question. In view of the corruption scandal, CEO and top management of a petroleum company, we have already discussed in the session that Petrobras is the top petroleum company of Brazil and the top management of this company resigned because of the corruption scandal recently. Petrobras is the top petroleum company of Brazil. Right? Look into the next question. Paul Polman, who met the Prime Minister and discussed about the Clean India campaign recently. Paul Polman met the Honorable Prime Minister and he discussed with the Prime Minister Clean India campaign, about Clean India campaign, and they told that they will support the campaign of the government, and Mr. Paul Polman is the CEO of Unilever. Right? Unilever is a multinational consumer durable company. Unilever has got its headquarters in Rotterdam in Netherlands as well as London in United Kingdom. Right? Rotterdam in Netherlands and London in United Kingdom, and this is the multinational consumer durable industry. Right? Paul Polman is the Chief Executive Officer of Unilever. He recently met the Prime Minister. Look into the next question. Ant Financial Services. Ant Financial Services is owned by Alibaba Group. Alibaba Group is the biggest e-commerce firm of China, and their financial services is Ant Financial Services. Recently, they purchased some share in Paytm. They purchased 25% share in Paytm. Every one of you know about Paytm. They purchased 25% share in Paytm for a value of $700 million. Remember, Alibaba Group and Financial Services recently took 25% share in Paytm for a value of $700 million. Look at the next question. RBI gave final guidelines with regard to CCCB. What is CCCB? Counter-cyclical capital conservation buffer. Counter-cyclical capital conservation buffer. That means when there are good times, please keep some money aside. In good times, please keep money aside so as to finance important sectors in bad times. In good times, they have to follow the policy of ants. What ants will do? Ants will save the food during the summer season, because in rainy season they don't have opportunity to go out. So just what the ants do, this counter-cyclical capital conservation buffer, this is basically final guidelines were given by RBI recently. Based on these guidelines, the banks are required to set aside some money in good times so as to take up credit activities in bad times. Right? Look at the next question. Rupees 350 crore special package for 7 backward districts. That means 50 crore rupees per each district. Rupees 50 crore per each district, as well as 500 crore rupees of ad hoc special assistance to the state of Andhra Pradesh was announced recently. You all know that Andhra Pradesh, after the bifurcation of Telangana, the capital city of Hyderabad has gone to Telangana, and now Andhra Pradesh is without capital and they are going to develop capital city near Vijayawada, and there is some financial crisis in the state because most of the income comes from Hyderabad, and Hyderabad went to Telangana. Because of that, recently central government gave some financial assistance to the state of Andhra Pradesh. The answer is Andhra Pradesh. Look at the next question. EY, Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young is the firm which has its operations all over the world. It gave recently Lifetime Achievement Award to none other than Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, former chairman of ISRO, and Entrepreneur of the Year award goes to Mr. Poonawalla. He is the CMD of Serum Institute of India. Serum Institute of India, basically into the manufacture of pediatric vaccines. Pediatric vaccines are manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, and its CMD, Mr. Poonawalla, got the Best Entrepreneur of the Year award. Remember, EY Lifetime Achievement Award was given to Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, former ISRO chairman. Right? Look into the next question. 79th Senior National Badminton Championship. Recently, 79th Senior National Badminton Championship was held in Vijayawada, and Ritvika Shivani of Telangana bagged the women's title, and the men's title was won by Sai Praneeth. Right? Sai Praneeth of PSPB won the men's title in the 79th Senior National Badminton Championship. Remember, Sai Praneeth of PSPB won the men's title, and Ritvika Shivani of Telangana won the women's title. Look at the next question. Name the city where vandalization of several churches. There were 5 cases of vandalization of churches in the city of Delhi, which is of serious concern to the citizens of this country, and 5 churches were vandalized in recent times in the city of Delhi, and recently Mr. Narendra Modi told such acts will not be tolerated in the country. Right? The answer for this question is Delhi. Next question. International Film Festival. This is 65th International Film Festival. 65th International Film Festival was kicked off in Berlin on 5th February, and they are going to be there for 10 days from 5th to 15th February, and who are going to win the awards at this film festival we will discuss in the next session. So remember, 65th International Film Festival was kicked off on 5th February in the city of Berlin. Berlin is the right answer. Look at the next one. Shiite Houthi rebels, we have discussed it several times. Houthi rebels took hold of the presidential palace dissolved parliament and president resigned in that country, and the country is none other than Yemen. Yemen is in trouble because of the Houthi rebels took control of everything. They took control of presidential palace and the dissolved parliament, and the country is Yemen. Right? Look into the next question. A robo-staffed hotel. I have already told you already. A robo-attendant was installed in a bank in Tokyo. Similarly, a robo-staffed hotel, that means you will have robots to serve you, that is going to be started for the first time in Japan. Right? Robo-attendant was installed in a bank in Tokyo, and robo-staffed hotel is going to come up in Japan. Remember what will happen to jobs? That is the biggest $1 million question of 21st century once the robots take place in place of human beings. Okay, anyhow, let us move on to the next question. 9 public sector banks will get capital infusion of 6,990 crores. Recently, Government of India has given total 6,990 crores of capital infusion. Out of it, State Bank of India got the maximum of 2,970 crores. I have already told you, some of the banks got capital from central government and some of the banks could not get, because of the reason recently Government of India gave a stipulation that ROA and ROE is the benchmark for getting the capital infusion from the central government. Remember, State Bank of India got 2,970 crores, and this is the right answer for this question. Look at the next question. Maybank Malaysian Open Golf Tournament. Maybank Malaysian Open Golf Tournament was recently won by Anirban Lahiri. You are seeing in the picture. So, Maybank Malaysian Open Golf Tournament was won by Anirban Lahiri. Look at the last question of this week. Memorandum of Understanding was signed to develop 10,000 megawatt of wind power by Adani Enterprises. They want to develop wind power, 10,000 megawatt of wind power. Adani Enterprises recently signed Memorandum of Understanding with the Government of Rajasthan. Government of India is going to have 100 gigawatt of solar power by 2022 and 60 gigawatt of wind power by 2022. That is the goal of Government of India. To achieve that goal, several companies are coming up to have MOU with various state governments. One such MOU is now signed with the Government of Rajasthan by Adani Enterprises for development of 10,000 megawatt of wind power. So, with this, we will conclude today's question and answer part, and let us meet once again next week. Please stay with us. Thank you.